Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back, Brandon again. Today's video, I want to talk briefly about speed work. So moving things fast. And depending on who you talk to, many people are either for or against this. And one of the big debates is that it's not actually beneficial. So in this video, I want to talk about why I think it's important to make sure you're having some type of speed work in your program. And in fact, it's actually prevalent in many of the most popular training programs out there today, including things like the conjugate method and their dynamic effort days.
The intensity zone is extremely low, about 40-45%. John's about a 500-pound roll bencher. I'm going to start him at the 6 in 15 seconds. He's going to do a set of benches every 30 seconds. For 4 sets, to get up, rest 1 minute.
And my own Campbell PRS system. Now, in fact, I was first introduced to speed work as part of running Lane Norton's fat routine.
It's just you and me. We gonna see if you can break me. Come on.
And this is the first time I actually put any thought or effort into this. And one of the biggest things going into this program, reading into it, was that I wasn't really sure that this was going to be too beneficial, because here I took a look at, wanting to get stronger. That's why I'm doing this program, but he's having me do things with sub-maximal loads that aren't necessarily heavy or taxing, with only the main thing being move them as fast and as explosive as possible. And I didn't really put my mind to how that's actually going to make me stronger. Yet several years later, here I am and building it into my own program, and it's one of the things that I highly suggest to people. So what are some of the main benefits of adding speed work into your program? Well, the first of which is it really adds some mental confidence. And what I mean by this is oftentimes we're really interested in getting as strong as possible. So in that case, we tend to use as heavy as weight as possible in most cases. Now, obviously, depending on your programming, there's some progression built in, but the general mindset is the heavier you lift, the stronger you're going to get, which is definitely true. But we can only go so long on that kind of programming where things start to get slow, things start to get grindy, and our bodies start to hurt. So adding in something like speed work can really be beneficial in terms of it lets you move weight extremely fast and probably build up some of that mental confidence that might have been a little shaky because you're pushing yourself so hard. Adding into this as well, if you watched my previous video on why bodybuilding helps powerlifting, one of the things I really focused on was building good motor patterns. And this is exactly the same case as we've mentioned previously, meaning that again, if you lift heavy weights all the time, things aren't going to move very fast, and you'll also have the tendency to grind more reps. The problem with that is your motor patterns can actually develop not to move things as smoothly as you'd like. So utilizing a lighter weight for speed work can also really help solidify some of those motor patterns we're trying to ingrain in our bodies. So as we just talked about, developing proper motor patterns is key, but the nice thing about doing it with speed work is the fact that we're using 60 to 65%. We can start really playing around with adding in other forms of resistance, things like band work, chains, or whatever your gym has to offer. You can really vary the level of resistance at different points in the lift and really start to develop not only those good motor patterns, but explosive motor patterns, which going forward, when you start to transition to heavier weight, should be able to translate fairly well. So you can get pretty creative with the speed work that you do. So that actually brings us on to our next point about varying levels of intensity. Now, obviously it's ideal for strength training to work in heavier percentages of your 1 rep max. The problem with this though is that it's not really ideal to do that sustainable in the long term. Your body just can't keep up. So adding in things like speed work or resistance training through bands and chains, you can really vary those levels of intensity and continue to see progress. And that's going to really allow us to add in more total work volume overall. Again, while the goal here is to get a lot of actual heavyweight work done, in the long term, we need to also supplement that in with some lighter work in order to get enough volume to grow both in strength and size. Now, the last 2 points I want to mention really go hand in hand, and the first of which is active recovery. And this is probably one of the biggest benefits I've gotten out of my own speed work, because this way, as I get older and I can't necessarily keep up with all of the workouts, I don't have to take necessarily time away from the gym between training sessions. Instead, I can program some speed days into my program. That way I can still go into the gym and train, but because it's at a lighter percentage, it's not overly taxing and it still allows me to recover. So think of this very similar to how a deload would work. And the final point, playing right into that, is the fact that by doing this, you're allowing yourself to continue to train without taking time off and without getting injured. And of course, we all know with the gym, consistency consistency is key. There's a lot of variance in programs and thoughts as far as progression goes, but the main thing that stays true is you need to be in the gym and you need to be training in order to see any kind of results, and implementing in speed work is a great way to ensure that you stay injury free and can actually spend that time in the gym. So that's some of the reasons why I really like speed work. If there's something I missed, which I'm sure there was, make sure to leave that in the comment section below. I also want to take this time to remind you guys that I'm partnered up with the NASM to offer 2-week free trials of their online services. If you're interested, there's a link in the description box through myusatrainer/Campbell Fitness. But in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.